named Ramona. She kinda looks like Tempest Storm, and she can dance like a little Egypt. She works down the snake farm. Snake farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake farm, it pretty much is snake farm. It's a reptile house, snake farm. Ramona's got a keen sense of humor. She got a tattoo down her arm. It's of a python eating a little mouse, wearing a sailor hat that says Snake Farm. Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, it pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. I asked Ramona how come she works there. She says, well, it's got its charm. There's nothing to do in the winter now, then some kid gets bit at the Snake Farm. Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, it pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something. This is a sing-along. Really. It goes Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. It ain't exactly kumbaya, but being the music fog, it ought to be perfect. Help me now, be on TV. Said Snake Farm, just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. Getting into it now. Well, Ramona likes malt liquor and a band from Wales that's called The Alarm. She said she cried when they broke up. She still plays the record that's a Snake Farm. Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. Sometimes Ramona calls me up and says, come on down here, it's getting warm. And she runs everybody off, and we, you know, it's Snake Farm. Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, it pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. Help me now. I said Snake Farm, just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, it pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. Thank you very much.
And that was one of my personal heroes, Mr. Ray Wiley Hubbard with Snake Farm. I'm Carlin Hagerty.
I'm Lori Graves.
And this is the Lori and Carlin Show, coming to you live from Steiner's Speakeasy in Chillicothe, Ohio. Lori, who do we have sitting next to us tonight?
Oh, tonight we have a very special guest, a very talented young man local to the area, Mr. Tom Edwards.
Say hello, Tom.
Tom Edwards.
All right.
Tom is a local musician, a world traveler. He's going to hang out with us throughout the show, chime in his words of wisdom, and then we're going to talk to him a little later and talk about his book and his travels, and he's going to play us a song for our outro tonight. So.
Oh, awesome. That's pretty exciting.
Yes.
Hey, by the way, Lori, happy 5th anniversary.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's not a 5th anniversary of sobriety or marriage. It's her 5th anniversary of comedy, which I guess is a marriage to her. It is to all of us. But
it's the longest relationship I've ever been in. Yes, it is.
That or the Sharon.
Yeah. Well, I came out of her vagina, so that's kind of a given on that one.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Congratulations to your mother's vagina.
Yes. Yeah. It birthed me.
So, how did you celebrate your 5th year anniversary?
My 5th year open mic anniversary, I had at the Dock at Water. Katrina Brown came down from Canton and headlined.
Woo, Katrina!
Yay, woo! And you and several other comics I've worked with in the past 5 years showed up to sign up and do some time.
We gave the boy from Logan, I can't think of his name, his first shot.
Was it Alex?
Is Alec or Alex? I can't think of his last name. Oh, I'm going to just
Jewett was his last name.
Alec
yes.
Jewett.
Yeah, he was very funny. We had the other newbie back, Allison.
Uh-huh.
We had some newbies. Marcus McKillop made an appearance.
He was
Tom remembers him. When I first started doing open mic, Tom and all the Kingston kids came to all my shows, and Marcus started out with us. He's been out of comedy for a while. He came back to the anniversary show and did like 3 or 4 minutes.
That's pretty cool. But you say the Kingston always killed me when you got started. Or I got started. You had the Kingston Cool Kids, and they called themselves the KKK.
Yeah,
I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
And if we had any audience members of color, we always had to clarify
which
that it was
KKK.
the Kingston Cool Kids and not the KKK. With
We
the
were a
hoods.
pretty chill KKK branch. Yeah.
You guys were, you guys didn't wear the hoods. You just had the beards.
You left
and-
your bed sheets on the bed.
Yeah, we weren't too interested in race or
Yeah.
sexual orientation or anything. We just liked to party.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
the party. Yeah.
Maybe burn a cross every once in a while.
That was why you were the cool
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
That was So yeah.
You guys had the hipster beers before the hipster beers were cool. You were trendsetters.
We did. It pisses me off that all these
I know.
little hipsters have beards now.
All these little bitches
It
wearing
used to
beers
just
thinking
be
they're cool.
unkempt. It wasn't trying to be cool. I was just lazy.
Yeah.
I still am.
It was just we drank too much for 5 days in a row, and hey, I didn't feel. And now it's become a thing.
Now it's a thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty
You guys
awesome.
did start that though. You were Amish before Amish was cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What other shows have you done?
Oh, I did Milford, Ohio on Friday. Talon Tavern.
Uh-huh.
It was a Rob Wolfong, Ray Oscar Price show.
Fatty and Skinny Comedy.
Yes, Fatty and Skinny Comedy. It was a great time. Drank a little too much Jameson down there again.
Can't believe it.
These out-of-town gigs have been getting me down, Tom. I almost got into a fight in Marietta 2 weeks ago. It
She
was
owns
hilarious.
a corner of a bar. It was awesome.
I announced that I owned a corner of this bar in Marietta to the bar. I'd never been there before, but I took ownership. But yeah, I didn't get to know. They were really cool. I hung out with the bartenders and stuff out back, so you can imagine what happened.
Sure.
But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good show. Met a couple new people. Great time. So,
Awesome.
what have you been doing?
Well, I just got back last night. I was over in Logan, West Virginia.
Oh, may I interrupt Carlin for a second? Carlin had a show last night. I really wasn't sure where he was going until he sent me a picture of the rules of the house that were in the green room. If this gives you any idea of what kind of place Carlin was in. Rule number 1, must have garter on while on stage. Rule number 2, must cover butt, nipples, and pussy while on floor. And rule number 3, must wear underwear on floor at all times. But why is all in quotes?
I don't understand where that came from.
Is there an area of the floor that isn't included in the all? Was there a curtain or something that go behind?
There were a couple of private rooms that were available, I guess, for the. It's not
That's
lap
the
dance.
quotes then. I bet the underwear comes off in that room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the VIP room.
When the 20s come out,
Yeah,
the underwear goes away.
that's exactly
We're
right.
gonna talk to Tom later about strippers in Thailand. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But so how was it? Were you in the green room with the women getting ready?
Well, they didn't have any women hired for the night or women working that night, and they just had the show. Myself and Vic Clevenger and Marcus Oglesby, our buddy.
No strippers?
They came in after us. It was so funny because I just must have a creepy vibe. I'm back there
You
waiting
do.
to go on, and as I'm sitting in the dressing room right there next to the stage, a girl comes in. She's got her outfit. She looks at me and she goes, "Oh, excuse me," and she hangs her outfit as quick as she can and gets the hell out of there. Like, I never even said 2 words to this gal. I have no idea.
You didn't have your butt and nipples out, did you?
No sir, no
Okay.
sir, not at all. I
Did
was
you have your underwear on at
underwear
all
on.
times?
I was adhering to all the rules. My pussy wasn't showing on the floor. I didn't have my butt out. No nipple. I was a good boy.
Are you on Carlin's Facebook, Tom?
Yeah.
Did you see the picture he posted yesterday? Why are you posting pictures of yourself taking a shit with your
I did
underwear
see-
and pants around your
I
ankles?
did see that.
Pre-game ritual. I have to get out all the unfunny, and so that's what I do. I figure if I get rid of everything that's not funny, I'll be funny on stage.
So we all must suffer through a picture of your underwear and
You
your
get to
ankles?
you get to enjoy it. You don't suffer through it.
That's your opinion, Carlin. That's your opinion. So how was the show? Was you and Vic and Marcus?
Yeah, we had a really good show. We had done a show back there late last year, and they invited us back, and we doubled the attendance in the audience, so that was pretty cool.
Nice. That's pretty good for no titties out.
Exactly, and then we're going to have another show in August. We're going to go back down. But I'm going to tell you what, this is in Logan, West Virginia, and it's on the far side of nowhere. I mean, we're going down
Are the sheep
hollows.
Nervous in Logan?
You know what?
Oh, no, they've got a titty bar. The sheep don't need to be nervous.
No, they got the night off.
Yeah.
So it's all good with them. But it was just, we were out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we drove and drove and drove. We went to Huntington, West Virginia, and then we drove to the uninhabited side. So it was just, we were out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
The uninhabited side?
Yeah.
What side of the mountain is that?
Exactly. It's the far side. I don't care where you're at. It's
Have
the
you
far
played
side.
a lot in West Virginia, Tom?
I've played one show with Dennis Foreman and Mark Secoy and Rusty Lewis and the guy who used to play drums for me is gone. And it was one of the craziest shows of my life. I woke up the next morning and I had unfortunately driven all the way back from West Virginia after playing in that bar until 4 o'clock in the morning drinking liquor. But I woke up and opened my guitar case. My guitar had 2 broken strings and there was blood all over it.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
my God.
Still no word on where the blood came from.
No
But
word?
I know at one point I was singing and playing and I started thinking, man, the drums sound like shit. Dennis must be hammered. And I look up at the bar and I see Dennis buying a drink at the bar. And I look back at the drums and it's Mark sitting with the bass trying to play the drums and the bass at the same time.
Where was this in West Virginia?
It was by one of those whitewater rafting places.
Oh,
I
okay,
can't
like
remember.
Summersville Lake or somewhere near. Or
I can't remember the name of the place.
New River Bridge.
It was by, I think, New River. But
Yeah.
That's
Dennis could tell you.
hilarious.
I can't remember. He played there.
Yeah, when
3
you see
times.
your drummer at the bar ordering drinks
Yeah,
in the
that
middle
was
of a
funny.
song, it's kind of,
The cooks were coming out of the back and doing shots with it. It's the craziest show.
That's awesome.
It was
We should
nuts.
see they do comedy there.
Be a fun one. That's where the Keg Dwellers name came from because
Oh, okay.
came from. I just hillbillied myself.
Nah, you're fine.
Dennis called down there to book it, and he said we're the Cave Dwellers because we had beards or whatever. And the guy's like, the Keg Dwellers, and he was like,
Close enough.
yeah, the Keg Dwellers. We like to drink beer, so it just stuck.
Dwellers. I
That is
wonder where that
awesome.
came from.
Keep talking. I've got a picture I'm looking for on my phone of exactly where you're talking about. Let's
Because
find
as
it.
you, the listening audience, can
Yeah.
see this picture
No,
that
but
he
you
is
guys can
showing
see it. You guys
Tom.
can see
That was
it.
the thought that was going through my head.
Yeah,
Close your holes, okay?
Tom, this is our fifth show now, I think.
Yeah,
Fourth show.
whatever.
Carlin,
still
learn how
doesn't get it.
technology works.
He still doesn't get that they can't see us.
Yeah, but you guys can. It'll be a nice element for you guys. Was that in that bar?
No, I wish.
There's a picture of a wooden carved mermaid, and I'm groping her out. And
Of
I'm
course
wearing
you
an
are.
obnoxious Hawaiian shirt and smoking a cigar.
Well,
Obnoxious.
tonight I'm not drinking because I had a track meet, but Tom is drinking. We always give a beer a shout out. Tom, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking Lift by Mad Tree.
Mad Tree?
Yeah.
What style is that?
I want to say it's a lager, maybe.
What's it say?
Say it on it. I usually drink Pilsners or lagers.
Something I can't pronounce style ale. Where's this from? Where's
Where's
Mad
it?
Tree?
Kolsch style ale?
Okay,
Oh, I
Kolsch
didn't-
is going to be like a Belgian.
Okay, Belgian wheat.
Because Carlin
Okay.
knows that.
Yeah.
It's
This is the
from,
man who
I
kept
want to
saying
say
harps
Cincinnati.
last week.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Harps.
Mad
Harps.
Tree.
The Harps beer. Have you had it?
Huh.
It's like when you shop at the Walmarts. Yeah, Carlin was adding an extra S onto everything 2 weeks ago.
You're still a bitch.
I know that bitch.
I know.
Hey, I know at the anniversary show, you got a chance to interview Katrina Brown.
I sure did. Let's go ahead and we'll kick it off to the lovely and talented Miss Katrina Brown. Here's 5 questions with Katrina Brown. And we are here with Katrina Brown. She just came off stage at the Docket Water and Chillicothe. How are you tonight, Katrina?
Sweaty.
Sweaty. That's how we like them.
Sweaty. I'm making my own gravy.
I love it. I love it. Hey, you're such a clean person. How do you get all your Christian comedy packed in 20 minutes?
Are you kidding? If I go down south, I usually have at least one person approach me after the show telling me how I need Jesus. So
No, I think Jesus needs you.
I think everybody needs just a little bit of Katrina Brown. That
I'd
sounds
say
so
so.
egotistical. And I even spoke in the third
The natives are
person. I
restless.
must be sweaty. I'm like dehydrated.
No, you're doing just fine. You had a great set. Good job
Thank you.
tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So anyway, I've got 5 questions for you, and I'm going to ask, how long have you been doing this? Come on over, Pops. Hell, we're having fun. Sit down.
Pops Gaines just wandered in. That's the beauty of this. How long have you been performing comedy, Katrina?
On the road or
just performing comedy?
Well, I actually started 20 years ago.
Okay.
But I quit after 6 months.
Okay.
Because I had no life experience. So my material sucked.
You know, that's funny.
I respected comedy too much to be bad at it. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of work.
It does.
And I started 8 years ago, and it just took off. So,
well,
I had more life experience, shit to talk about.
It was cool because you bonded really well with the crowd, and your material hit them pretty right between the eyes. And it wasn't like you're out there selling something you didn't believe in, so that was pretty awesome.
Well, all my material has to be true. It has to be honest. If I don't believe it, I can't say it. I can't make shit up.
Exactly.
You know, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people who make up jokes, because there's too much diversity in comedy to say one is right and the rest is wrong.
If you laugh, it's working.
But for me, if it's not honest, it's more like reciting a joke than performing material. And I'd rather perform the material and believe in what I'm saying.
So what's changed in the 8 years you've been doing it?
I've gotten dirtier.
Okay.
When I started, it was a lot of mommy stuff because they say write what you know. And I mean, it's not that I wasn't dirty 8 years ago. I just assumed everybody has kids, so talk about kids. But then I started doing college venues where kids are their worst nightmare. You know, they like panic if they think they're pregnant. And I learned fast. You have to know your audience and have a little bit more of a diverse book of material.
Oh, very cool.
So I started doing more of the sex stuff and more of the mutant stuff. And
do you think you've gotten more comfortable when you share a little bit more intimate details of your life?
Yeah. I think I started doing that like the second year in. I caught Robert. I don't know if you know Robert Schimmel. He's since passed away, but if you watch the material he does about his cancer and how personal and gritty and dark he dares to go, and then he lifts you right back up again. And I think a lot of the mutant stuff, and I didn't get a chance to do that tonight, I go that direction there because so many people have so many problems with themselves, and we're all so fucking hard on ourselves, that if somebody can get up there and list all this shit they have wrong and find a punchline in all of it, somebody in the room is going to feel a little bit better before the night's out. And that is actually a side goal. I want people to like themselves a little more and then go home and get laid. So,
that's two very admirable goals.
Sure.
Let's see. How long? What's changed? What's the best gig or most memorable gig you've ever had?
I'll go with the oddest gig. I was contacted on Facebook by a little bar somewhere in Indiana. I don't even remember the name of it now, and this was years ago. And when I walked in, everybody knew everybody. Like, this guy was this guy's brother-in-law who worked for this buddy's cousin down at the cement store, whatever. And when it was time for me to do comedy, there was no opener. It was me, just an hour of me. And they asked if I was ready and said, okay, stand over there and do comedy. There was no microphone. There was no stage. It was just this cement corner. And this whole bar, like pod people, they got up and they moved into this quote-unquote showroom, which was where the pool tables were. And I had no microphone. I just had to basically start shouting at people. And it worked. I did like an hour and 20 minutes. And we had a ball. I sold a bunch of shirts. But it was so weird because even the hotel, there was no stop lights. It was just stop signs. And the hotel was very Norman Bates. You know, like even the bathroom had the crank open window over the toilet.
Oh, wow.
Where you can almost get out before the serial killer pulls you back with your feet. So it was just, I mean, they handed me an actual key. There wasn't a card. It was a key. And the carpet was, you know, 1960s shag, crazy. So I guess just seeing the different venues, that was the weirdest one I did. I don't like to say what my favorite is because I'll piss somebody off.
No, I understand. So, I understand.
Like everybody I know is actually going to listen to this shit. You know?
I've heard I've heard the diplomatic answer of the last gig I performed was my favorite one. Or tonight's gig was my favorite, or whatever.
The thing about it is, you're only as good as your next gig. Everything you did before doesn't matter.
Oh, it's definitely what have you done for me lately?
That's why my usual intro is just big hair, big mouth, big attitude, Katrina Brown. Because if you list all these places you've worked, it doesn't mean shit to the people that are sitting there now. You could have been on Comedy Central. If they didn't see it, chances are they don't know who the fuck you are. And they don't know if you're funny, so you have to be funny in the moment. So all of your credits don't mean dick.
And let's take our egos back down to ground zero. How many people are going to remember our names 5 minutes after we walk off stage anyway?
Oh, and it helps when people actually say your name correctly.
Yes.
And
Carlin, Carmen, Carlton,
right.
Harless.
Well, you'd think Katrina, and I hate it, it's a hacky reference, but the hurricane, you'd think they would...
Sure.
I worked at a club recently where the MC was very new and nervous, so I did not correct him because if I did, I was just going to be a bitch.
Yeah.
But he called me on stage as Patrina Brown with a P.
Well.
I'm like, that sounds like an off-brand dog food.
So you're not dog food.
And I didn't say anything to him because I didn't want to be mean. You could tell he was nervous. But yeah, getting people to remember your name seems to be the big thing.
Very cool. What's the worst gig you've had? I don't need any names. I don't want you to burn any bridges, but just tell me the story of the worst gig you've ever had that you'd burn a tit off before you go back.
It was a casino gig.
Okay.
And typically the headliner was slated to do 45 to an hour.
Okay.
And most casinos will not throw out hecklers because they're throwing out gamblers.
Yes.
There were only 12 people in a very huge room to begin with.
Okay.
And one guy, I did 15 minutes of material and 45 of me fighting with this one guy who apparently does this to every comic every month.
But he spends a little money so he thinks he can get away with it?
Yeah, and it was frustrating for the simple fact that I really wanted to do well because the guy that was running the show is 1 degree of separation to Christopher Maloney, which anybody who knows me knows I would fuck that guy so bad I'd make a special victim out of his unit. But I wanted to impress the guy, and I could feel myself tanking. I mean, you can't fight with a heckler for 45 minutes and not tank.
The crowd hates you.
But when I got off the stage, he hugged me. He's like, "You're the only one that's gone the full hour."
Wow. So he was just playing.
Yeah, so apparently I had a lot of extra aggression to take out that night on their monthly heckler, but I don't ever want to work that room again because there was no artistry to it. It was
set up for failure from the beginning.
Fighting with an asshole is not comedy.
That's usually a date for me.
Yeah.
Last question for you. What advice would you give to somebody starting out in the business?
Watch as much as do.
Watch as much as do.
You can learn just as much from watching. And I don't mean just open mics. I mean, tonight's an open mic. You're never too good for open mics and showcases, but go to a comedy club. If you have to pay to get in, do it. Watch who they're paying as their headliner. Don't do a guest set and leave.
And
you know
she gets a kiss from the Sharon.
Don't do a guest set and leave. Don't do 5 minutes and then you and your 7 buddies walk. Sit and watch the show. Figure out why they're paying that last guy. What can you learn from that chick or that dude that's on the posters and on the website and on the TV and on the radio? Because if you watch a show, a professional show, you can see where people are actually doing something right, and that's why they're there. Not that somebody good can't have a bad night, and it's almost worth it to see that to learn why it's not working. What's happening? Is it the crowd? Is it the comic? You can learn just as much by watching as you can, and get up on any mic you can.
That's awesome.
Take your time.
Awesome. Well, this has been 5 questions with the beautiful and talented Katrina Brown.
Beautiful. He's drunk.
Not even. I don't think I perform. Thank you very much for indulging me.
And thanks for letting me talk about myself.
And fuck Derek Bennett.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks.
And that was Katrina Brown. Carlin's interview with her on my interview. Katrina for helping us out there. She's fun.
She killed it.
I love her. She is always so. I mean, the whole entire dock, everyone was crying. I mean, there were actual tears running down people's faces, laughing at her.
And you know, people say that comedians have to be clean after this. This woman, I don't want to say she's filthy because she says things and does it in a way that she gets her point across, but she's not dirty or nasty.
It's filthy, but it's not. I mean, you could take it that way, but what she's actually saying isn't filthy. But in your mind, you're like, oh my god, and
and you know that's what she means, but
yeah,
plausible deniability.
Right, I love her. Yeah. She's great. She's
awesome.
Great. Well, we're gonna go ahead and do our WTH.
Hell yes, I'm pissed off.
The week, and I'm gonna let Carlin go first this week because Carlin is really WTH'd. He is. Carlin, what the hell of the week?
Okay. 3.5 years ago, the very first bit I wrote was a bit about t-shirts, and I give t-shirts away at the beginning of each show. And if you've been to one of the shows, you've seen it, you know what it is. I'm not going to spoil it because I think it's pretty cute. And to do this bit, I bring in a brown paper bag, and I have 4 rolled up t-shirts that have rubber band around them, my business card in it, and I have 1 unrolled t-shirt for the big reveal. I go up to do the bit every time. I've got it down to, I'll say a science. I don't know if it is or not. And I go up at this show the other night, and I reach in my bag, and I've got 1 rolled up t-shirt. Somebody had stolen 3 of my t-shirts to do my bit, and it didn't give me time to expand the bit. It didn't give me the timing. It threw me off. And I know, as the good Lord is my witness, I know these 2 little bitches, and they're Lori's favorite 20-something-year-old drunk girls were sitting there. I fucking hope their legs grow together on their honeymoon night, the dirty little whores. But anyway, I'm not bitter. But I'm telling you, I go up there to do this, and it's the one thing I have that I know is going to be funny. I know people's going to laugh, and they took that from me. I don't have much in this world. I don't have much in comedy, and they took it from me.
And they took your Hanes t-shirts.
They did. It ain't cool. I'm
No,
pissed.
it wasn't. I wish I would have known because I would have hit those bitches in the throat. You didn't tell me this till after the show.
I know. I waited till everybody was gone and you were already back in Londonderry.
Yeah, I was already home, and then Carlin's like, I think these bitches at the bar stole my t-shirts, and I'm like, what? I mean, had I known, I would have, you know me.
She would have stopped the show and started frisking
You've seen
people.
me bartend over the years. I will go in
I've seen
somebody's
you with
purse.
a Jameson bottle over your
Yeah,
head.
I will not care. I will go after. I
Yeah.
pulled that shit out of that, man. I can't believe it. I'm so sorry.
No, it's, you know what? It's one of those things, live and learn. We've got the story to tell about it. But I remember those bitches. It's okay.
Good, and if you remember them and see it, let me know, because I'll just go hit them in the throat for no reason.
Better idea.
And I'll be like, this is for Carlin's t-shirt.
No,
bitches.
better idea. I'll sleep with them.
There you go. Sleep
Yeah,
with
that'll
them.
ruin them.
And
That's a
then,
solid plan.
and then leave one of your t-shirts laying on top of it.
Exactly.
You could wipe your ass with one of your t-shirts and then throw it out. I'm
love
like,
this.
thanks, bitch.
Yeah, you
Clean
wanted that
yourself
t-shirt.
up.
Yeah, here, clean yourself up. Here's another one of my t-shirts, bitch.
Yeah.
There you go.
You want a
That's the
t-shirt?
plan.
You want a t-shirt so bad, you got it, honey.
I'm high-fiving Tom Edwards
Yeah,
right now because that was
I
his
love
idea.
it.
Yes,
That's
that was awesome.
That is awesome.
Tom, do you have a WTH of the week?
What's pissed you off?
What's pissed you off lately, buddy?
My quick thought, WTH, is the fact that I would listen to everybody bitch about the potholes now that the snow melted, but everybody failed the fucking safety levy that should have passed, that was for the fire department and to fix all the potholes and all that stuff. And now they bitch that they need all of the shit that the levy would have fixed.
I know.
Do
it
you
pisses
feel
me
like
off.
on Facebook sometimes, especially in Chillicothe, that people in Chillicothe act like we're the only town that has potholes? They act like we're the
Yes.
only people that have potholes. I talked to a couple weeks ago. No, I tweeted. I said so they'd filled 34,000 potholes since last November, and I put Columbus dash 34,000, Chillicothe dash 4 maybe, because I know they're everywhere, but we only have what, like 2 guys that do that. How
Right.
can they expect 2 men in a dump truck of patch?
With the levy,
Yeah.
our fire department, a lot of times the big Station 1 has 3 people at it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
I don't feel safe.
unacceptable.
Yeah, how can you feel
know,
safe? Because
like-
and do they even have EMTs anymore? Are those guys on
A
call?
lot of them have to do both, the fire and medics.
And so so when people, when their homes are burning down, they're not getting taken to Adena Regional on time.
And then our chief, they get paid per run. So whenever they get they call them a Gomer call, a stupid call where somebody cut their finger open, with paper cut. We send a squad there when we should send a private ambulance. And while our squad's dealing with that idiot, somebody has a heart attack and has to wait 25 minutes for, an ambulance to get there.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So there's a lesson to you, Chillicothe. Pass levies.
No shit.
And then you wouldn't be ruining your tires on pothole-ridden streets.
It's my theory that a lot of these people that are voting levies down don't even own property anyway, so it wouldn't affect them.
Right.
They're
But
just,
I think they just see a tax or a levy and immediately
Yes.
vote no.
yeah, it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Without reading it.
Yeah.
They don't realize. I mean, I can't ever imagine people that always vote no for the Pioneer School.
Oh.
How could I would never vote no on a Pioneer School levy. Those
Right.
kids. I mean, how could you vote no on those kids? I don't care how much
You need
it
to
is.
put a picture of the kids next to it.
Right. I mean, I feel like how could you vote no for anything? I mean, so my WTH really isn't a big, heavy-hitting one this week, but I did have a little incident happen. And we're all on Facebook, and we all do stuff on social media. Has guys ever happened to you? It happens to you all the time. You'll tweet or post something, and within 10 minutes, people are sending you a message. Was that about me? Are you talking about me? Like they're the most important person in your life at that fucking minute.
I feel
don't-
like this happens to you a lot.
it happens to me all the time. And I'm like, if you're gonna get butthurt about something I've said and it offends you, then I must be hitting home.
Yeah.
But I wasn't talking directly about you because you guys know me. If I was, I would put your name in the tweet or the status. Has it ever
Yes.
happened to you though? Like we'll see with a chick, you put something like on there and it's like, oh, you're talking about me, like an ex.
Yeah.
Because I have a guy that I used
My
to.
book, yeah.
Yeah, I have a guy
And
that I
I'm
used to
doing
like
that.
that thinks everything I tweet about guys, he thinks it's about him. I'm like, oh, your dick wasn't that big for me to still think about. I don't know, you're not still that important to me anymore.
Poor guy, I know that feeling.
Well, Tom Edwards, you've had some ladies, don't even lie.
I'm just sitting here thinking, and the whole field of shows so far, Lori, we finally crossed over to being dirty. We were tiptoeing the first 3 shows. We've had pussy on here. I've motherfucked a couple bitches. You're talking about getting a little dick, and
Well, I think it's because I'm exhausted and I've only had one monster
I
today.
understand. No, I just think that we finally became Lori and Carlin, and not some
I blame
radio.
Tom Edwards.
It never
Yeah, I
happened
have
before he
that
was
problem.
here.
It does, yeah, it never happens.
I accept
Exactly.
that. I accept that.
So, quick break. We're going to break up here and we're going to have Tom play a song for you. And then after that song, we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Tom about his music career and about his traveling and about his book that he just has published called Planes, Trains, and Broken, the laughable but true story of an impoverished indie musician traveling the world. So here's a little ditty by Tom Edwards. Enjoy that. We'll be right back.
There you go.
Alrighty, I'm gonna play a song I wrote called Optimistic Apathy. Optimistic apathy can be a good thing, you know. Sometimes giving up is the best, letting go. I wish you would just let me love you like I wanted to do. I wish you would just let me love you like you told me that you wanted me to do. It's been a long time coming. Where was it to now? Made my mind that you're around. Something you know nothing about. Something you know nothing about. If you think you're uncertain, I'll answer your question myself. I will close the curtain. You'll have your stories to tell. You will miss me. You will be sorry. You will cry. You will feel. But you're too happy being unhappy. It is my turn now to leave. Now I won't argue, I won't listen. I've got nothing left to say. It's done, it's done, it's done. I hope you let yourself be happy someday. I hope you let yourself be happy someday. And I won't argue, I won't listen. I've got nothing left to say. It's done, it's done. I hope you let yourself be happy someday. Let yourself be happy someday.
And that was my new favorite song, Optim, performed live by our friend of the show, Mr. Tom Edwards.
Tom Edwards, yay.
Thank you very much. That was awesome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You don't go wrong with live music, and then when it's good live music, it's even better. I
Well, Tom did start a really great thing here in town. Let's talk about that. We're going to talk about Tom, the musician, first, and we'll get later. But you still, even with all your traveling and stuff, you are still doing the open mic, organizing that for Jerry's. Are you still doing that?
We do. We did kind of a reunion one last week, and I'll probably do another one in May.
But it was unique for Chillicothe because your music open mic
It was
was
the first one around here that was all ages.
yeah, and most of them you had to be 21 and up to get into the bar.
Probably not the first, but the only one at that time that was all.
But that's kind of cool that you encourage young talent and newbies to come up and
Absolutely. The reason I started it was that's how I first got my brother and I first started playing in an open mic that was in South Bloomfield, and that was where we really learned to start playing in front of people. And we actually ended our first studio album was paid for by a guy that just liked us at the open mic and stuff. So I just want to give that opportunity to young people where for them to play. We don't really have a lot.
What
of
was your
coffee
brother
shops
in your
that do
band?
music.
What you guys play under?
Failure Savvy is
Failure
what we
Savvy, yes.
Okay.
played as, yeah.
do you get nervous before you perform?
Not anymore. I used to, and even used to be if I went a long time without nervous again. But the past couple of years, I've just played so many shows that I think I've decentralized myself to it or something, desensitized, whatever the word I'm looking for is.
I'll ask you the question I ask all our comedy buddies. What's the worst gig, the hell gig that you can remember?
Man, I've had a lot of really bad ones. Usually the worst ones for me are just where nobody's paying attention. I won't name the name of this bar because I already did that on Facebook. Because I am usually
It doesn't have to be,
a name shamer.
Yeah, I do
they
too.
deserved it. But I played at a certain bar in Huntington Township. That it was just a bad night to begin with. My drummer played it with me, and we had some underage people in there drinking, and they would come up every 5 seconds. Are you guys almost done? We want to listen to the jukebox. And it was one of those. And finally, I told her, it's fucking rude when you say that, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I'm going to go tell my husband you said. I said, bring him up here. I'm going to tell him what a bitch you're being. And at the end of the night, the owner they had double booked us with a DJ too, so when I first got there. And at the end of the night, we were supposed to get paid $150 for the gig. Hands me $40.
Are you kidding me?
Oh.
That's the worst ever. Right
It was
there.
it was bad, yeah. And I ended up me and him screaming across the bar at each other. And the worst part was I didn't know it. He told me he gave me half, and I didn't know until the next day I looked in my pocket that it was only $40.
So it wasn't even half of the 150.
No, he told me. I think he said 80. And then the next day I looked in my pocket and it was $40.
that
People
is
are gonna be shitty.
Actually,
pretty
side
greasy.
note, Tom did do an open mic of mine, comedy, at
Yes,
the bank.
yeah.
You did.
Did two of them.
You did two of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom did get on stage.
Yes, you did. Okay, I remember
he
that
did,
now.
Yeah. Tom's just naturally hilarious, but he's
Now
entertaining.
that I was scared shitless for, man. I got there and I had to do 2 shots of whiskey and drink a beer before I could even.
See, I feel like a
Get
stud
up
when I
there.
talk to musicians because they all tell me the same thing, but I couldn't do what you did. I
think
don't
it's
have
all. I think it's what you're comfortable with, maybe.
I
you
think
know?
that's
I don't
probably
know.
true.
Yeah. We
I was
talked about that
scared
with
shitless.
musicians. Talking with Brian Day, we talked
Yeah.
about that. And I said I would be scared to
Yeah.
sing, and he's like, I'd be scared to talk in front of people. So I guess it's
Uncle
what.
Buck said the same thing to me.
Yeah, so I guess this is what you're used to. But I
Yeah.
know you're only going to be in town before you're off your next adventure. You've got some shows coming up. You anything going on this week?
Yeah, I'm playing here at Steiner Speakeasy this Friday for the Rock Around the Block thing.
Nice. So it'll
The
be
17th.
Friday. It'll be tomorrow
Yeah.
after the show. It'll
Yeah.
be so it'll be great.
Wonder
Yeah.
who's Tyler's hosting over. Stuart, I think, is hosting here.
I'm not sure who the hosts are. I know I have a show at Wagner's that night, so I'll be doing my comedy thing early at 8.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to bring all my comics downtown, and we'll do the Rock Around the Block thing.
I'm going to be at the dock with my buddies from Crossroads Station. They're a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I think Tyler might be the host here, and then you're going to be the host of the dock. So I think there are 6 stages this
Yeah.
year for that Rock
Yeah,
Around the
Yeah, it
Block.
looked
I
like
think.
a lot of good music going on.
I saw that Pops and Gaines, Leslie Battle's going to host a show. Ian's going to host a show. Tyler, myself, and there's one other, Donnie Lowry. is gonna
Yeah,
host a show.
I had to decline because
Yeah,
I
know.
already have a show,
I know.
but I'll
Well,
still
you
be
set-
around.
You set us up last year.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did get host for that for a few years, so
Yeah.
it was kind of I passed that on kind of to Tyler. But
Yep,
so
pretty
you'll
cool.
be here Friday, and I know you got a
Yep.
couple other shows. Well, let's get down to the book. I've been dying to get down to the book. Tom Edwards decided. When did you start traveling?
If you go back to the very beginning, probably with my parents when I was like 13, but the one that really got me wanting to see the world was first time I really went west when I was older. I'm with a girlfriend, the next time with a few friends, and I just loved the West. I still do so much, and it got me thinking,
How do you-
man,
how
what's
do
the
you
rest
fund
of the
this
world
kind of
like,
thing?
you know?
How do you camp mostly and eat like
Well,
one meal a week, or how
That's
that work?
that's what the book is kind of about.
Yeah,
we
the
were
book-
all
yeah.
very naive when we left, and we didn't have a very big budget. And I had this big dream that I was going to make a bunch of money with a blog and play music, and it didn't happen. And we ended up sleeping under bridges and train hopping and hitchhiking and just
Was that cool
doing
or not?
questionable things. Some things were cool, some weren't. I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely hated the sleeping in random places. I hated it. It was just, you never got enough sleep, and you're always getting woke up. You're always worried you're gonna get caught, you know. And I hated going hungry
Yeah.
all the time.
Who doesn't?
Where
But
now this
I
book?
loved hitchhiking.
Is that
And
right?
I loved hitchhiking and train hopping because you met so many cool people.
Your book starts out. Now you started in Europe. Did you start this trip in Europe? Is
Yeah,
that where
we
you started?
drove to New York City. We had a place to stay in New York City. That guy bailed on us at the last second. So we spent a week kind of trying to be budgeted in New York City, much thanks to my cousin who just kind of took the wheel and wouldn't let us pay for anything.
Which is nice.
That's where the strip club story starts out.
And
there.
then you went from New York, and where was the first place you landed in Europe?
In Barcelona, Spain.
Spain. You started this trip out in Spain. Now you
Yeah.
eventually went from Spain. You went from Europe to Asia
Yeah.
to then Australia. Am I correct?
Right.
And then you came home.
And then New Zealand, and then home.
and then home. So let's give us some highlights, because my favorite thing I want to talk about is chapter 21 in time. Let's ease them into that, and let's tell us. Let's see. I know you guys I know you had some interesting experiences in Italy.
In Italy, that's where we started train hopping. We ended up getting off and getting stranded underneath a bridge where we lived with an emu for about 5 days.
You lived with an emu in Italy.
Yeah,
Okay.
we just hopped off the train at a random spot. We hadn't slept. We slept with a bunch of homeless people for about an hour the night before total. And so we just wanted to find a place to sleep all day. And we just got off the train at one called Dave and Marina. And yeah, took a nap. And I woke up and there was a big ass fucking bird standing there. Like, I thought it was an ostrich. And Aaron, the guy I was traveling, was like, "No, it's an emu." I'm like, "I don't know."
Like
how
it
you-"
matters.
And he's like, "They're native to Australia." And I was like, "Well, we're in Italy, so that's fucking."
Yeah, I was
weird.
gonna say that's not a native bird to Italy.
No, we
is it?
still don't know. And it was like a town pet. We're sitting there looking at it, and we hear a thump, and we look over. Somebody's dumping potatoes off of the bridge. They're trying to feed the emu. I don't know why they thought the emus eat potatoes, but yeah, people didn't know we were under there, and they would come throw bread and all kinds of stuff down to the emu, and we would steal it and eat it.
Rock on.
Rock on.
That's cool.
Did you work while you were in Italy? Did you get a job there?
I had what I called a hobo 9 to 5. Eventually, we made it to Rome, and we went to a small town called Ostia, an hour west of Rome along the coast, and we illegally camped in a nature preserve there, complete with prostitutes that sat in lawn chairs outside next to the highway.
Nice.
Very
We
cool.
stole all the chairs too because we needed a place to sit. But we had a routine there.
That's
It
what
was
happened to the
really
bitches
weird.
uptown.
Yeah.
It was weird. We were there for about 3 weeks, and it was like a regular living after a while. We wake up, had to take a homeless shower, spray down our hair with water and brush our teeth.
Yeah.
Then we'd take a bus into the town of Ostia, and we would play music for 5 or 6 hours a day for tips. Usually me and Corey would sneak some ice cream or maybe a can of Coke or something like that now and then take the bus back. Cook up
very
dinner
cool.
in the nature preserve.
You guys were pretty much traveling with your backpacks, and you had your guitar,
I had 65 pounds in my backpack and my guitar, yeah.
and that's all you had. I mean,
That's
all you had
everything for 6 months.
for
yeah.
6 months. So did you guys do a lot of playing while you were on the road for money? Was that one of
Yeah.
your ways of making livings?
Europe, that was our own. Me and Corey playing music whenever we could.
Yeah.
We didn't do too good until we got to Italy when we had a chance to
Do you think that
be in one place.
Do you think that made you stronger as an artist when you knew that you had to do it to eat?
Absolutely. It made me learn to read audiences and be able to kind of guess what people might be into or when we figured out exactly what time of day they'd be tipping. We knew which people would tip and which wouldn't just by looking at them, and we
That
would.
is so cool.
That is
It's
cool. It's
crazy.
Like a science. Like you, it's
Yeah,
like
it was
on
down
a
to
whim. You
if
figure
you
it
saw
out.
a kid game over. Look at the kids, start smiling. They're coming over. And then it's the whole thing, and the parents give the kid money so you can put it in the tip thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like, kid, and you just see money signs.
It's like reading the room.
I know.
Like when you get on stage, you read the room, and you say, we got
Yeah.
the 2 old biddies in the corner, they go laugh for nothing, don't give them anything, but here's the ladies that's ready to laugh.
Right, same thing.
You know, the birthday table, screw that bitch.
So so we're in Italy, and from Italy, where did you go next?
We flew from Thailand to Italy.
You flew from Thailand to Italy.
Yeah.
So cause I gotta get to the Thailand stuff. How did you get to Thailand? Where'd you go from where to where to Thailand?
We flew from Rome to Bangkok. We had booked all of our tickets ahead, so that was the funny thing is we were so broke, but all paid for. So all we had to do was like hang around wherever we were until a flight would leave. And we knew once we got to Bangkok, we could live like kings because it's so cheap there.
Oh, okay.
So we wanted to leave early. The airline wouldn't let us switch our flights. So that's why we were stuck in the nature reserve.
Oh, okay.
Just killing time, basically, trying to spend like the least amount of money as possible because we knew if we could at least break even,
Better days were coming.
better days were coming. We could buy food and
So when you say
Whatever.
Bangkok is dirt cheap, what is dirt cheap in Bangkok?
Bangkok was expensive in Thailand, and we were paying $1 a night for accommodation.
Oh.
$1 for a meal at a restaurant. $1 for a
nice.
pack of cigarettes.
You could live like kings there then.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
And we were coming from Europe where, everything's way more expensive.
Everything
so,
was way more expensive.
yeah.
So when you got to Thailand, what's the first thing that you did when you got to Thailand? Did you go to find a place to stay, or were you staying in a hotel?
We
or?
went straight to a hotel that we had booked, which we ended up being roomied with a bunch of Indian guys.
Like Indians.
Like, Red Dot Indians.
Okay, Red Dot Indians. Okay.
Not
and-
cigar store Indians.
Yeah.
And those dudes, we call them the Indian animals because they love to party, man. They just wanted any little occasion, party. They loved it. We really got along well with them.
So my main
now-
story about talking about Thailand. Go ahead, Carlin.
I was
Go
just going
ahead.
to ask real quick, just to set the scene. You're in Thailand and you are with who?
My friend Corey, who also plays drums
Uh-huh.
for me, with me, I should say.
Yeah.
He's not my servant boy.
Gotcha.
And a friend named Aaron, who was taking some pictures and stuff, and with us on the trip.
Okay, so there are 3 of you.
3 of us total,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
But Thailand. I just wonder. I haven't read Tom's book yet. I actually just purchased my copy tonight. But I have friends that have read his book, and chapter 21 is of great interest to me and to his friends. And Tom told me earlier, before this, that chapter 21 is his.
That was
We're
my...
crazy at Steiner's, so we'll have to speak up.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
at the Scream at Steiner's, and we've had a party come in, and it's getting kind of crazy in here. So.
Yeah, that was it was my favorite to write. I was pretty much laughing the entire time that I was writing it. That one was about we had heard of you've probably heard of them called ping pong shows, or seeing a movie where basically a girl shoots ping pong balls out of her vagina.
Awesome.
The Thais call them pussy shows, and if you walk to Patong, the night market, you'll have 101 different guys coming up to you with flyers. Oh, pussy show, you're my American friend, you come with me. And we spent about a week of telling them to fuck off, and they'd follow you, forever. We knew we were going to go to one, but we just didn't know when, and we finally decided one night, okay, we're going to party. The Indian guys were out on this. They didn't want any part
Is that
of it.
right?
They
So
didn't want
how
any part
much
of
should
it.
how much should a pink do in American dollars?
Well, we'll get to that part in a
Okay.
second. So
Okay.
first the guy says, it's free, you come with me, it's free.
Of course. it's
And we
always
were
free.
planning on spending some money, but we're like, oh, well, hell yeah, free,
Was
let's do
he
it.
touting the internationally famous, I have high school girls, my sister and her friends. Did he ever say that to you?
No, that probably would have weirded me out a little bit.
We always got the high school girls, like we were down in Belize or anywhere like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just pause for just a second here.
Yeah, let's pause for a second. Okay, we had to move to another area of Steiner's. It got too loud. We want to finish up this interview with Tom. So I think we left off where you were talking about the pussy show, and the guy had told you it was free.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So we follow the guy. We go to you would think it'd be in some alley or whatever, but it's like right outside of like the main market. So you could basically go watch a woman shoot things out of her vagina and walk out and buy your mom a koozie or something from the vendor.
Was it in like a building or like a tent, or I mean what?
No, it was in a building. You walk up some skinny stairs and you go up. It's like a strip club. It's a low lit place. Ridiculous 90s music playing for some reason.
Really?
And they sit us down. They bring us drinks. You want a drink? So we order some beers. And then the announcer comes on. It sounds like a boxing match or something, like, and in this corner, blah, blah, but It's all in Thai, so we can't understand a word of it. But yeah, a woman walks up and she's not holding anything, so everybody's kind of in suspense. At this time, it's just the three of us. That's the only people in the whole place.
Really?
Nice intimate setting.
Yeah.
How big a place was it? Just, how many would it hold, would you say, if it was packed?
I'd say about as much as the speakeasy.
For about 30, 40, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Very cool.
So you're the only three in there?
Only three in there. A girl walks up. She doesn't have anything in her hand, so we're wondering what's going on.
Will she come out clothed or naked?
She's naked as the day she came.
Okay, all right.
How was her demeanor? Was she like forced into it at gunpoint, or was she cool with it?
They all smiled, but I assume they were not happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I heard really bad things later, but let's not spoil the fun now.
Let's not spoil it. Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So she reaches and she pulls out a string, and it's a string of razor blades coming out of her vagina.
Oh.
And all of us are just, no! And then she pulls out another string, and it's little flowers, and we all, and then she takes a marker, like a big permanent marker, sticks it in her crotch, and she puts a piece of paper down on the floor and squats and does a little swoop with her hips. You guys can't see it, but I'm doing the swoop right now myself. And it is the most perfect smiley face that I have ever seen.
Get out!
That is
her
awesome.
Vagina.
Now see, to me, that's art.
And this was after she pulled razor blades and flowers out of it. Okay.
Then she bows. Everybody claps. She's a prostitute, so she comes up and tries to proposition us.
Oh, of course.
That's where I learned that you could get a blowjob in Thailand for cheaper than parking in New York City.
Really?
It's like $13
for a blowjob
to get your dick sucked in Thailand. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
How much?
$13.
13.
Didn't take her up on that. Didn't really want to bring anything back other than any
luggage
souvenirs I didn't want.
Right. Yeah.
So the next girl walks up, and she has a little plastic blowgun, and she like makes this noise and flexes her hips, and she starts popping balloons with the blowgun. She puts a dart in, sticks it in her
See,
vagina.
that's talent.
There were balloons like on the wall,
Yeah,
and she's popping them out.
Was good, like
Was she
a sniper.
accurate? Really?
She was. We counted.
Like
She
a
was
sniper, like a
She was
vagina
like 8
sniper.
for 10 or something like
No
that.
shit,
Like, it
yeah.
was amazing. And then the one that and the pickle girl. Yeah, there was a girl that shot pickles out, which is like a full dill pickle, 4-inch long pickle, launch them across the room, and they'd bounce at us, and we're bouncing out of the way. And then another girl would come out with tongs and a bucket and pick up all the pickles.
And they were getting reused for the next show.
And she'd wave them in your face like, and we're all going back. She's like, you scared? You scared? I'm like, fucking right, I'm scared.
I just saw what happened. Yes, I'm scared.
I do not want that AIDS pickle touching me.
Oh my god.
But the one that blew my mind, that blew all of our mind more than anyone, this girl came with a glass, like a pop-top bottle,
Yeah.
and sat on stage, held it, put her feet together and held it with her feet, squatted down and put the top of the bottle in her pussy, popped her hips, popped the top off of the bottle,
No.
and and she had shaken up, pop or beer or whatever, goes flying everywhere. And everybody just like, oh my god, that's the most amazing thing.
It certainly is.
So how much did this cost you?
Well, that's where, after that, she came up and propositioned us, I suck you for 1,000 baht. I'm like, no, enough about that. Where'd you learn to do this?
1,000 baht. How much is 1,000 baht in our
It's 30 baht to $1.
Okay.
So I can't remember the math on
That sounds like $100 or something.
Yeah.
$300. I don't know.
No, it might have been $100 because I know that it came out to, we did the math later, and it came out to $13 and like 44 cents or something like that.
Wow.
But anyways, we're telling her no, thank you. And then Big Mama San comes up, 6 foot something, muscly woman, and it was like, I can't remember how many. It was a crazy high amount of money that she wanted. And we're like, no, it's supposed to be free. And she's like, no, you have to pay. And when I was arguing with her, Aaron started to give her money, and I'm like, don't fucking give her money. They said it was free. Like, we've been buying drinks, whatever. And then all the performers, all the women start gathering at us angrily. You pay, you pay, you pay. And they're like throwing like napkins and stuff at us. And like,
Sounds like a date for me.
And finally, I told her, I think I said 300 baht.
Yeah.
And we paid that.
And got the hell out.
And they let you
Got the
leave
hell
safely.
out,
Yeah.
But that's chapter 21 of your book, right?
Yeah.
Very
And then
cool.
the best part of the chapter, that's not even my favorite part of the chapter. My favorite part of the chapter is when we left, Aaron got ridiculously drunk on whiskey and just made the biggest fool of himself. And it was just one of the funniest parts of the book, I thought, of him just...
Let's hold that for another time. We've got about 45 seconds before we're going to talk you into giving us a song to go home to. Okay?
Yes.
Alrighty.
We would like to thank you, Tom, for hanging with us tonight.
God, this is fun.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like, it's like guerrilla broadcasting. We're back here in the kitchen at Steiner's. We've got the microphone propped up on a 12-pack, or on 6 packs of beer. We've got the laptop, hidden down below. We're standing between the freezers and the beer, and they're coming back and getting stuff.
It's what we'll go to entertain you.
Am I the only one that's been stuffing beers in my pockets while I've been back
I
here?
think you are. Yeah, don't tell Tara. Don't
Yeah,
tell Tara.
weird.
But Tom, real quick, I know you're on all social media. Do you have a website people can find any of your stuff on?
My travel website with a lot of writing about my experiences and all that is tuneupandtravel.com.
Tuneupandtravel.com.
Tuneupandtravel.com. And if you want to hear some music, TomEdwardsMusic.com.
All right, we'll have all this stuff posted for you on GoneRogueRadio.com. My name is Lori Graves.
I'm Carlin Hagerty.
And this was the Lori and Carlin Show from Steiner Speakeasy in Chillicothe, Ohio. And Tom's going to take us out with a little tune. What are you going to take us out with, Tom?
I'm going to play a tune called Take Our Time.
All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next Thursday. And here's Tom Edwards. Woo!
Take our time.